My fiancée said, "I can't marry you. You're just a teacher, and my friends' husbands are all executives." I replied, "I understand." Then I returned the ring, sold the house deposit she never contributed to, and booked a solo trip to Italy. 6 months later, she saw my new girlfriend, a doctor who loves that I'm just a teacher. Original post. I, 32 male, teach high school English. Have for 8 years now. I love it. Yeah, the pay isn't executive money, but I make decent enough, around $58,000 after my master's bump. I coach the debate team, run the literary magazine, and genuinely enjoy watching kids discover they actually like books when given the right ones. My fiancée and I had been together for 4 years, engaged for one. We met at a friend's birthday party. She works in pharmaceutical sales, makes good money, around $95,000 with bonuses. From the start, she knew what I did. I never pretended to be anything else. Last month, we were supposed to be finalizing wedding plans. Venue booked, deposit down, save the date sent. Then came the dinner party. Her college friend group has this monthly thing where couples rotate hosting. Her friends are married to a VP of marketing, a financial analyst, and a tech startup guy. Nice enough people, I guess, but every gathering felt like a competition I didn't know I'd entered. That night, her friend's husband was bragging about his Tesla Model S Plaid. Another was talking about their ski trip to Aspen. When someone asked about our honeymoon plans, I mentioned we were thinking about a road trip through national parks, something I'd always wanted to do. The silence was awkward. Her friend's husband made a comment about roughing it, and everyone laughed. My fiancée laughed too, harder than she should have. On the drive home, she was quiet. Too quiet. When we got back to her apartment, she sat me down. The speech she'd clearly been rehearsing came out. "I've been thinking about this for a while. I can't marry you. I'm sorry, but you're just a teacher. My friends' husbands are all executives, partners, people who are going somewhere. I love you, but love isn't enough. I need someone who can give me the life I want. Someone my friends respect." I sat there for probably 30 seconds, just processing. What about the wedding? The deposits? The house fund? We can figure that out later. This is hard for me too. The house fund, right? That was $34,000 I've been saving for 3 years. Money I'd put into a dedicated savings account for our future home down payment. She'd contributed exactly $0, always having some reason. Car payment, student loans, that designer bag she needed for work. I looked at her, really looked at her, and I realized something. I wasn't heartbroken. I was relieved. The knot in my stomach I'd been carrying for months, the one I'd blamed on wedding stress, suddenly made sense. "I understand," I said. She blinked. "That's it? You understand?" "Yeah, I understand." I stood up, took the engagement ring from where she'd placed it on the coffee table. She'd already taken it off, I noticed. Put it in my pocket. "That's my ring," she said. "Actually, it's mine until we're married, which we're not going to be. You can't just take it. Watch me." I walked out, drove home, felt weirdly calm, like a fog had lifted. The next morning, I got to work. The ring, took it back to the jeweler. Original purchase price was $4,200. They offered me $2,800 for buyback, since it was custom. Not ideal, but I took it, cash in hand. The house fund, already entirely in my name. Transferred it to my regular checking account. $34,000 available immediately. The wedding deposits. Here's where it got complicated. The venue deposit was $3,500, and the contract was in both our names. I called them, explained the situation. They were sympathetic, but said cancellations required both parties or forfeiture. I sent my ex-fiancée, a text. "We need to cancel the venue. Please sign the cancellation form." Her response, "I'm not signing anything. You can lose your half." My half. Interesting, considering I paid the entire deposit myself. I called the venue back, explained she was being difficult. The coordinator, bless her, said technically the person who paid could dispute it. I sent over my credit card statement. After some back and forth with their manager, they agreed to refund me $2,500, minus their administrative fee. Good enough. The photographer deposit, $800, was in my name only. Got that back in full after explaining the situation. Same with the DJ, $400. Total recovered, around $6,500 plus the house fund. That Friday, I booked a solo trip to Italy. 2 weeks. Rome, Florence, Venice. Business class flights. I'd never flown anything but economy in my life. Nice hotels. Michelin star restaurants I'd always wanted to try. Cost me about $8,000 total. Still had over $30,000 in savings. As a teacher, because I live within my means and don't need a Tesla to feel like a man, I posted one picture on social media from the Colosseum. Caption: sometimes the best journeys start when you stop going in the wrong direction. Vague enough, but everyone who knew. My phone blew up. Her friends reaching out saying I was petty. Her sister texting that I was making her look bad. My ex herself calling me an immature little boy who couldn't handle rejection gracefully. I blocked them all. Ordered another glass of Chianti. Watched the sunset over Rome. Being just a teacher felt pretty good right about then. Update 1. 3 weeks later. Got back from Italy feeling like a new person. Tan, rested, and weirdly optimistic. Unpacked, did laundry, prepped for the new school year. Then the messages started. Apparently, my ex had been telling everyone a very different version of events. According to her, I blindsided her by breaking off the engagement because I was intimidated by her success. I had stolen the house fund that was supposed to be both of ours. I had manipulated her into giving back the ring. Her mother called my mother. That was fun. My mom, bless her heart, told her exactly where she could direct her concerns and hung up. But the real entertainment came when my ex's friends started reaching out. Not to me, to people we mutually knew, trying to piece together my side because they were concerned about her. My buddy, who's married to one of her college friends, gave me the full report over beers. Dude, she's spiraling. Apparently, she thought you'd fight for her. Beg her to reconsider. She told everyone you two were just taking a break while you figure things out. Then you posted from Italy, and she lost it. She broke up with me because I'm just a teacher. Yeah, she's spinning that differently, saying she suggested couples counseling and you refused. There was no counseling suggestion. She sat me down and told me I wasn't successful enough. Literally, said her friends' husbands were executives and I wasn't going anywhere. His face went through several emotions. She said that, word for word. I can't marry you. You're just a teacher. He shook his head. Bro, I knew she could be shallow, but that's rough. The following week, things got messy. I got a letter from a lawyer, her lawyer, demanding the return of shared assets, including $17,000 representing her equitable share of the house fund, plus the engagement ring. I almost laughed. Almost. Called my buddy who does contract law. He reviewed everything over lunch. This is nonsense, he said. The savings account was solely in your name. You made all the deposits. There's no written agreement establishing joint ownership. And the ring? In this state, it's a conditional gift. Condition wasn't met. It's yours. So what do? I'll send a response letter explaining why her claims have no merit. If she actually wants to sue, she's welcome to waste money she doesn't have. My guess? This is a scare tactic. Cost me $300 for his time. Worth it. His letter went out. Response from her lawyer? Nothing. Radio silence. Bluff called. But she wasn't done. The next Saturday, I was at my usual coffee shop grading papers when she walked in. Not a coincidence. I'd mentioned this place to her plenty of times. She happened to be there with her sister. She spotted me. Made a beeline for my table. We need to talk. I don't think we do. You got a lawyer involved? Seriously? This is what we've become. You sent me a lawyer letter demanding $17,000 I don't owe you. What did you expect? Her sister chimed in. She's just trying to get what's fair. You two were building a life together. Were we? Because she told me I was just a teacher and she needed someone her friends would respect. The sister's face flickered. Apparently that detail hadn't made it into her version. That's not exactly what I said. My ex started. That's exactly what you said. Word for word. I remember because it was the moment I realized I'd wasted 4 years on someone who never actually respected me. She went red. I was stressed. Wedding planning is overwhelming and you weren't helping. I paid for everything. Every single deposit. The house fund? All me. The ring? Me. You contributed nothing financially and then told me I wasn't successful enough. Her sister actually stepped back. Wait, you didn't put anything into the house fund. That's not the point. It kind of is the point when you're demanding half of it. My ex grabbed her sister's arm. Let's go. He's obviously not going to be reasonable. I'm being very reasonable. I'm not giving you money that was never yours. She stormed out. Her sister followed, looking less certain than when they arrived. I went back to grading papers. Finished my coffee. The barista, who'd witnessed the whole thing, brought me a free muffin. Rough day. Getting better. Actually, update 2, 3 months later. The school year started. Fall semester always reminds me why I do this job. New batch of juniors convinced they hate literature until you hand them something that actually speaks to them. Watching that transformation never gets old. I've been focusing on work, friends, life. Dating wasn't really on my radar. Then the debate team had their first tournament, and I ran into someone. She was there as a judge. Turned out she's on staff at the university hospital and volunteers for high school academic events when her schedule allows. We got to talking during a break. She asked what I taught. I braced for the usual reaction. English? Oh wow, that's amazing. Those teachers made the biggest impact on me growing up. No condescension. No, that's nice with a subtle pity. Genuine interest. We exchanged numbers. Grabbed coffee the next week. Then dinner. Then more dinners. She's a resident pediatric surgery. Absolutely brutal hours. Insane pressure. And she chose to spend her rare free time judging high school debates because she thinks it's important. Third date. She asked about my previous relationship. I gave her the short version. She said you weren't successful enough because you're a teacher? Pretty much. She laughed. Not mockingly, like she genuinely couldn't believe it. I make 3 times what my attending did at my age, and I'm miserable half the time. You know what I'd give to have a job where I actually enjoy going to work? Where I help people without watching some of them die. It's not that simple, Dash. It literally is that simple. Money isn't success. Success is waking up and not dreading your day. You have that. Most people don't. I didn't know what to say, so I just kissed her. She kissed back. Meanwhile, my ex's life was apparently not going according to plan. Through the grapevine, my buddy again, I learned that her perfect friend group had started fracturing. The financial analyst's marriage was struggling. Turns out his 80-hour weeks meant he was never home. The startup guy's company tanked, and he got laid off. The VP of marketing? Having an affair with his assistant. The dinner party stopped. The comparison Olympics ended. And my ex? She'd been dating a portfolio manager she met at a networking event. Tall, expensive suits, drove a BMW. Everything she thought she wanted. He dumped her after 6 weeks. Apparently, he was emotionally unavailable and only interested in her looks. Shocking that a guy who measures success by salary might be shallow in other ways, too. Then came the run-in. Christmas party at my buddy's house. I brought my girlfriend. We'd been together about 2 months at that point, but it felt solid. Easy in a way my previous relationship never was. My ex was there. I didn't know she'd been invited. She was still friends with my buddy's wife through a mutual connection. The moment we walked in, I felt her stare. My girlfriend, beautiful in a simple green dress. Her hospital ID badge still clipped to her bag because she'd come straight from shift. My buddy's wife, trying to be helpful, made introductions. And this is, well, you two know each other. And this is his new girlfriend. My girlfriend, professionally gracious, extended her hand. Nice to meet you. My ex shook it weakly. Same. What do you do? I'm a surgical resident. Pediatrics. The look on my ex's face was something I'll remember forever. Not because it was satisfying in a petty way, though it was, but because I watched her entire worldview collapse in real time. The teacher she'd rejected for not being successful enough was now with a doctor. A surgeon. Someone who, by her own metric, was more respectable than any of her friends' executive husbands. That's nice, she managed. My girlfriend smiled warmly. Thanks. I'm mostly just trying not to pass out from exhaustion during 36-hour shifts. He's the impressive one, actually making a difference in kids' lives while they're awake enough to appreciate it. She squeezed my hand. My ex looked like she'd swallowed something sour. We moved on, mingled, had a good time. I didn't go out of my way to interact with my ex, but I didn't avoid her either. She was just there, a person I used to know. As we were leaving, my ex caught me alone by the coat rack. She seems nice. She is. You moved on fast. 6 months isn't fast. It's healthy. She hesitated. I've been thinking about what I said. Maybe I was too harsh. You weren't harsh. You were honest. You told me exactly what you valued and what you didn't. I just didn't fit. No hard feelings. I didn't mean it like dash. Yes, you did. And that's okay. You saved us both from a marriage that wouldn't have worked. I'm grateful, actually. My girlfriend appeared with our coats. Ready to go? I'm on call in 6 hours and I desperately need sleep. Yeah, let's go. I turned to my ex. Take care of yourself. We left. Cold air, clear sky, her hand in mine. That was the ex, wasn't it? How'd you guess? The way she looked at you. Like she was doing math and not liking the answer. Probably trying to figure out how just a teacher ended up with a doctor. She laughed and pulled me closer. Please. I ended up with you. I got lucky. We walked to my car. Nothing fancy. A Honda Civic I bought used 5 years ago. She'd never once commented on it. Hey, she said before I started the engine. That house fund you mentioned once. You still have it. Most of it. Why? Just thinking. My lease is up in 4 months. Maybe we could start looking at places. Together. I looked at her. This brilliant, exhausted, genuine person who thought I was the impressive one. Yeah, I'd like that. Final update. 6 months later. We bought a house. Nothing fancy, 3 bedrooms, decent yard, good school district, occupational habit. Split the down payment 50-50 because she insisted, even though I had more saved. We're partners, she said. That means equal. The contrast still hits me sometimes. 4 years with my ex, and she never contributed a dollar to our supposed future home. 4 months into seriously dating my girlfriend, and she was calculating exactly how to make things fair. Moving day was chaos. Her colleagues from a hospital showed up to help, along with some of my teacher friends. Someone brought a cooler of beer. Someone else ordered pizza. It felt like a community, not a competition. That night, lying on a mattress on the floor, furniture delivery was delayed. She turned to me. You happy? Yeah, really happy. Good. Me too. Simple. Honest. No games. No performance. No measuring ourselves against anyone else's standards. I found out through the grapevine what happened with my ex. Her sister, surprisingly, reached out to apologize about 6 weeks ago. Said she learned more about what really happened and felt bad about how she'd acted at the coffee shop. According to her, my ex never really recovered from the Christmas party encounter. Kept talking about how unfair it was that I'd upgraded so quickly. Went through 2 more failed relationships with guys who looked good on paper but treated her poorly. Last her sister heard, she'd moved to another state for a job that paid less but had better work-life balance. Apparently, the whole experience made her reevaluate some things. Whether that's true growth or just a convenient narrative, I don't know and honestly don't care. What I do know is this. When she told me I was just a teacher, she meant it as an insult. A dismissal of everything I am and everything I've chosen to be. But here's the thing about being just a teacher. I get to watch kids discover that they have voices worth hearing. I get to come home at a reasonable hour to someone who loves me for exactly who I am. I get to save money, travel when I want, live without the anxiety of keeping up appearances. My ex wanted someone her friends would respect. She ended up alone, chasing approval from people whose own lives were falling apart. I wanted someone who'd respect me. I found her. The house fund I spent 3 years building, it bought us a home where neither of us has to pretend to be something we're not. The ring I returned? The money went toward a better one. She said yes last month. Small ceremony planned. No competition, no performance. Just us and the people we actually like. My ex was right about one thing. Love isn't enough. You also need respect. Shared values. Someone who sees your worth, not your salary. She just didn't realize she was describing everything she wasn't. I'm still just a teacher, and I've never been happier.